This course was built on a colonial battlefield. After midnight, players become targets. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the evergreen estate golf course. The manicured greens and pristine fairways glowed faintly under the floodlights, but the air carried an ear stillness. The course was beautiful by day, a haven for the wealthy and the skilled, but at night it transformed into something else entirely, a place where the past refused to stay buried. A group of four golfers stood on the 18th green, their laughter echoing unnaturally in the quiet. They were the last to finish their round, having stayed late to settle a bet. The floodlights buzzed faintly, their harsh light illuminating the flagstick and the surrounding bunkers. One of the golfers, a brash man named Greg, lined up his putt. "Watch this," he said, grinning. "I'll sink this and take the pot." He tapped the ball, and it rolled smoothly across the green until it veered sharply to the left and disappeared into a bunker. The group groaned, and Greg cursed under his breath. "Of course it goes in the sand," he muttered, stomping toward the bunker. "This course is cursed." The others chuckled nervously. They'd all heard the rumors about Evergreen Estate. The course was built on the site of a colonial battlefield, a place where hundreds had died in a brutal clash. Locals whispered that the land was haunted, that the spirits of the fallen still roamed the fairways. But it was just superstition, right? Greg climbed into the bunker, his shoes sinking into the soft sand. He scanned the area for his ball, but something else caught his eye. Bones, dozens of them, poking out of the sand like jagged stones. He froze, his bravado faltering. "What the hell?" he muttered, bending down for a closer look. Before he could react, a skeletal hand shot out of the sand and grabbed his ankle. Greg started screaming, thrashing as more hands emerged, pulling him down. His friends watched in horror as he disappeared beneath the surface. His cries were cut short. The sand shifted and then settled, as if nothing happened. The scoreboard near the clubhouse flickered. The numbers changed. Players 11, victims 128. The remaining golfers stared at the bunker, their faces pale. The caddy, a woman named Sarah, stepped forward, her voice trembling. "Greg, Greg, this isn't funny." But there was no response. The bunker was still, the bones now hidden beneath the sand. The floodlights flickered, and the temperature dropped. A cold wind swept across the course, carrying with it the faint sound of whispers. "We need to get out of here," said another golfer, a man named Tom. He turned to leave, but the path back to the clubhouse was gone. The fairway stretched endlessly into darkness, the floodlights now dim and distant. Sarah pulled out her phone, but the screen was blank. No signal, no power. She then looked at Tom and the others, her fear mirrored in their eyes. "This isn't possible," she whispered. "This isn't real." But it was. The course had come alive, and it was hungry. As they stumbled through the darkness, the group began to notice changes. The trees lining the fairways twisted into grotesque shapes, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The sand traps seemed to shift and move, as if guided by an unseen force. And the whispers grew louder, forming words in a language none of them understood. One by one, the golfers fell. Tom was dragged into a water hazard by shadowy figures that rose from the depths. Sarah vanished into the woods, her screams echoing before being abruptly silenced. The others met similar fates, their bodies claimed by the course. By dawn, the scoreboard read players 0, victims 132. The next morning, the groundskeepers arrived to prepare the course for the day. They found the clubs and carts abandoned, but no sign of the golfers. The bunkers were smooth and undisturbed, the fairways pristine. The scoreboard displayed the usual information: the day's tee times and the leaderboard. As the first group of golfers arrived, the sun shone brightly, and the course looked as beautiful as ever. But if anyone had stayed past midnight, they would have seen the truth. The bones beneath the sand, the shadows that moved on their own, and the scoreboard flickering faintly in the dark, keeping count of the players and the victims. Because at Evergreen Estate, the game never ended. It just changed players.